welcome you to Norman, Oklahoma. Pam Ward along with former Arizona three-time All-American Jenny Dalton-Hill. And our first chance to see the #1 overall seed Oklahoma. And needless to say, UMBC, it's a very tall mountain to climb tonight.
UMBC picked last in the preseason poll in their conference, but came away with the tournament championship to be able to advance here to Oklahoma. But they're facing a tough opponent in Oklahoma, the #1 seed.
And the main reason really why UMBC is here, because they have a fantastic pitcher you might not have heard of, but Courtney Coppersmith has some of the best numbers in the country.
She has absolutely dominated the American East. Freshman Player of the Year, Pitcher of the Year, and Tournament MVP, 342 strikeouts on the season.
That is second in the nation. She has 5 no-hitters, including a perfect game, had back-to-back no-hitters in the American East Conference. But UMBC has not played a team like Oklahoma tonight. They're going with their ace, G. Juarez, in the circle.
G. Juarez leads a pitching staff that has the lowest ERA in the nation. They have been able to be dominant with all aspects of the game. Second time in program history to enter the NCAA tournament with the top seed. The first time they held that #1 seed was 2013, and they won their second national championship that season.
Take a look at these numbers. These are #1 in the entire nation, including leading in batting average, earned run average, and fielding percentage. All 3 aspects, they have it covered.
Powered by 5 seniors that have won 2 national championships and a season last year that didn't end the way that they wanted it to.
So far, so good. Oklahoma just 30 with a 39-game winning streak. That is a new in-season NCAA record. First pitch just around the corner in Norman. Welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma, where the #1 overall seed, the Sooners, just 2 losses on the season, getting ready to take on the Retrievers of UMBC. They are in only their 3rd NCAA tournament ever and their first since 2002. And Oklahoma head coach Patty Gasso deciding to throw G. Juarez, who is unbeaten this season.
The ace for them in the circle, the transfer coming in at the mid-year, the transfer from ASU, G. Juarez, has come in and filled some very big lefty shoes here for the Sooners. 186 strikeouts for her this season. Look for those numbers to climb in this outing.
So Juarez gets the start. Again, this is a team that has the best earned run average in the country. Mariah Lopez, Shannon Sale also rounding out a very formidable pitching staff. Oklahoma averaging 8 runs per game. That is now second in scoring behind James Madison in the entire nation heading into the NCAA tournament. But this is a team that lost in the World Series last year. Their opening game, they had to fight out of the losers bracket, and their season ended prematurely, and that is something that has carried over now almost a full calendar year later.
There are 5 seniors on this roster who have 2 national championships under their belt. Had to take that loss in Oklahoma City, did not like it. So what you see is Sydney Romero, Kaylee Clifton, Shay Knighton, Fale Aviu, Kylie Lindeberg, and Reagan Rogers, who do not want to end their season again like that.
G. Juarez is your Big 12 Pitcher of the Year.
G. Juarez is one of those pitchers who is a seasoned strikeout pitcher. You have to stay off her rise ball and show discipline, or she will move that way she will move the ball down in the zone. Her changeup and off speed can be very difficult to read, so you've got to attack early in the count so she can't mess with you deeper.
Patty Gasso for the 8th straight year and 12th time overall as the Big 12 Coach of the Year. She's taken her team to 12 Women's College World Series, has won 4 national championships. On the other sideline, Chris Kuhlmeyer in his first year, UMBC's 3rd head coach in 4 years, and gosh, what a job he has done to take them to the tournament.
Has brought new life, enthusiasm, and belief back into this UMBC roster. They believe in themselves, and right now they're going to need it facing the foe of Oklahoma.
Time now for tonight's starting lineups presented by Capital One. Julia Kepler gets things going, and you see Courtney Coppersmith, their pitcher, who will start tonight, hits out of the 3rd hole at 3:08, and we are underway in Norman. Kepler, a 5'6" sophomore from Huntingtown, Maryland, had a terrific America East tournament in which he hit .692. UMBC playing here under the lights. This is their first night game of the season, now down to 77 degrees. The wind still is a factor, and it is blowing out towards right field. UMBC has only hit 21 home runs all season, by the way.
You wonder how fast these UMBC hitters have faced the kind of pitching that they've faced in their conference. Right now, they're going to need to get that front foot down early, just try to make contact with these pitches coming over the plate.
Two-two pitch on the way to Kepler. And Juarez gets her first strikeout of the night. That's Kepler looking. Now, you may remember this UMBC athletic program for what they did in 2018 as the number 16 seed. They defeated number 1 seed Virginia in the men's basketball NCAA tournament. The first time a number 1 seed has been defeated by a number 16. The Retrievers were all the rage. And now they are trying to pull off something that would be equal, if not greater, as an upset tonight.
Well, in the break, you were talking about how this would maybe be the biggest upset of all time in the softball world if UMBC was able to come against the powerhouse of Oklahoma that is leading in so many statistical categories this season.
Maddie Dainu, a junior middle infielder from New River, Arizona. Keep an eye on Maddie because she is a slap hitter and has had some troubles with being called for being out of the box when she made contact, which is something we've seen called quite a bit this year.
We've seen it being called a little bit more effectively now that they've moved to the 4-man umpire crew. So the umpire at second base now has a great view of the plate and can help out the home plate umpire in that footing.
Juarez ahead. Sails and caught by Lindsay Elam in her first year as a starting catcher. Juarez 22-0 on the season. But 10 finalists for the USA Softball Player of the Year, the National Player of the Year.
Oklahoma, the only school to have 2 players on that top 10 list. Sydney Romero, the third baseman for Oklahoma, also on the list with G. Juarez for that top 10 Player of the Year watch list.
Romero was the Big 12 Player of the Year. Couple of strikeouts to start things off for Juarez.
So we've seen a strikeout looking now on the inside part of the plate. This one a ball way up and out of the zone. Dainu knows that she shouldn't have gone for it. It's a tough break for her, but now Juarez 2 strikeouts on the night.
And that defense behind G. Juarez, we've already talked about it, the number 1 defense in the country, fielding percentage-wise, Aviv Mendez and Alo from left to right. Romero over at third, Grace Lyons, the freshman, at short, and the ever-steady Kaylee Clifton at second. And Shea Knighton is playing first tonight. Knighton having trouble with some chronic knee injuries. Will DP at times, but it starts the game at first as Courtney Coppersmith takes a mighty swing and is quickly down 0-2. Courtney going with the eye clear gold tonight, not eye black. And she will be the starting pitcher. 3 pitches is all it takes to get Coppersmith. Juarez strikes out the side.
Juarez is going to give you a lot of different looks. She'll get you on the inside. She'll get you up and out and try to get the swing and a miss. She'll also nip a corner on the outside. She gets the side.
Welcome back to Norman. Fans of all ages have turned out to see their beloved Sooners. They are about to hit here in the bottom of the first inning as they take on UMBC and the freshman phenom and Courtney Coppersmith.
Coppersmith throws in the low 60s. She has been a strikeout pitcher in the conference, but right now coming against a formidable foe of Oklahoma. She loves to get ahead early and bait hitters to chase, but Oklahoma, a very disciplined team at the plate. If they can be disciplined, they will be very successful against Coppersmith.
Time for tonight's starting lineups presented by Capital One. The familiar lineup for the Oklahoma Sooners, starting with Sydney Romero, hitting .427, Big 12 Player of the Year. This team hits .365 collectively, best in the nation. They score 8 runs, and here we go. Romero puts down the bunt. Coppersmith fields it, and Romero beats it out. Well played by UMBC, but Romero was able to leg it out.
Romero is such a strong hitter. She leads the team with 17 home runs, but I like this start for Oklahoma. Putting some small ball into action, placing the defense on alert that this is not going to be just a game that the ball goes out of the park. They're going to have to play really tough defense against Oklahoma as well.
So Romero is on for Fale Aviu, left fielder for the Sooners. 7th in the Big 12 in average this year. First team all Big 12 performer. Oklahoma had 6 first-team Big 12 players this year. That ties a program record. They swept all the major awards, but they had their eye on one thing and one thing only, and that's getting back to Oklahoma City and contending for the national championship. Aviu behind 0-2. That's the World Series appearances. The ones in gold are the championships. So 3 straight years they've gone to the series. They won a couple of championships, but lost game 1 and could not get out of the losers bracket last year, where they got shut out twice by Washington.
Fale Aviu, one of those seniors that does not want to feel that way again. They have set their eyes on that national championship. And yesterday when we were watching Fale Aviu take her batting practice, one of the things you noticed was that very drastic split grip. What that does is it gives her a lot of barrel control. It's that top hand becomes a lot more dominant, and so you have to be careful to not let those shoulders fly, but that you stay through the pitch, drive right back up the middle.
2-2 pitch now with Romero over at first. Beat on the ground, and the short out taken by Hammett advances Romero over to second. UMBC with their defense behind Coppersmith, Pierce, Keffler, and Pollock from left to right. And then the infield for the Retrievers, who've committed 71 errors on the season. Anna Lonchar is the catcher for Courtney Coppersmith. She is a redshirt freshman, made the all-rookie team, but here's Kaylee Clifton. And she gets started off with an off-speed pitch that floats in there at 48 miles an hour.
That changeup will be a difference maker. If Coppersmith can locate that pitch down in the zone, get it called for a strike, that will be the pitch that she will be the equalizer throughout this game if she can continue to locate it.
Now, Kaylee Clifton has scored 60 runs by herself this year. Oklahoma's opponents in total have only scored 59.
Kaylee versus all y'all.
Yes. And right now, Kaylee's winning. That is a remarkable number.
And when we talked to Patty Gasso about Kaylee Clifton, we asked her, you know, what has made Kaylee Clifton such a consistent player for you throughout her career? And she said, you know, her father passed away when she was in high school. It was a dramatic change in her life, and her performance here at Oklahoma has been something that she wanted to make sure she used to honor him and give him a little bit of pride watching from above.
Kaylee's dad passed away in a car accident. Had been her coach. Let's take a look at the last pitch by Coppersmith, who went down.
And as on a rise ball, you've got to try to get behind it or under it, and because of that, her footing got a little away from her. But this is the biggest moment of Coppersmith's life. She has never pitched in a bigger arena. And it's that drive foot. She just slips out from under her, that stride foot out in front. Not a big deal. You want to drive that or create that drive as hard as you possibly can. And she knows that these are big pitches. You cannot miss a rise ball. A flat rise ball is a home run against Oklahoma.
That pitch floats high to load the count for Clifton. Jocelyn Allo on deck. You just can't take a breather in this Oklahoma lineup. But the first strikeout for Coppersmith as she got Clifton swinging.
And we knew that that rise ball would come into effect. You've got to make sure that it moves. A beautiful pitch that starts belt high up into the eyes of Clifton. But look at the balance of Clifton's base. I love to watch a hitter that can stay that balanced even on a swing and a miss.
But an impressive pitch and an impressive strikeout for Coppersmith. But now Jocelyn Allo lit the world on fire with 30 home runs last year, which tied the single season record set not once but twice by Lauren Chamberlain, who's in the house tonight. Just 14 home runs for Jocelyn this year, but she has 7 in her last 11 games, so she's starting to pick it up a little bit. And that must be terrifying for opponents.
Well, and look who's settling in. All of a sudden, Courtney Coppersmith finding the zone, settling down, and making these pitches really count. I'm loving the change that we've seen from the first batter to now here. Courtney Coppersmith, very difficult to face in the circle.
Romero reached on a bunt single. The view grounded out. Clifton struck out, and on the left there she is, Lauren Chamberlain. No one hit more home runs in college softball history than she did. She had 60 in her first 2 years, then had some injuries, and still hit 35 more. Towering pop-up in foul territory, and it drifted back in fair. Winslow could not field it, and Oklahoma scores.
Talk about a ball with eyes. This ball gets above the lights. It goes so high. Allo has so much power in that swing. This pop-up looks to be handled by the first baseman, but as Winslow comes across, it continues to drift back into fair play. Coppersmith not happy with that one, knowing that Oklahoma's aggressive on the bases and pushes around a run on a ball that barely leaves the infield.
An RBI single credited to Allo. Romero scores from second to make it 1-0. Grace Green, the Big 12 Freshman of the Year, batting 5th. And you're right, that was like a major league pop-up. That thing went high, and again, this is UMBC's first night game of the season. Green into right field. Pollock grabs it for the final out, but the Sooners score first.
In the circle, but G. Juarez, the lefty, recognized that Oklahoma has never won a national championship without a power lefty in the circle. G. Juarez, stepping on campus in January, has now given Oklahoma another lefty with power.
Did come in late, as you mentioned, joining the team in the spring semester. She has a 1-0 lead as we go to the top of the second inning. Sierra Pierce, the left fielder, leading things off. Juarez struck out the side in the first inning. UMBC stands for the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. They are the Retrievers. Awesome, awesome mascot.
What kind of retriever?
A Chesapeake Bay Retriever, which is the state dog of Maryland. 4 up, 4 down, all via the strikeout. Now, the Chesapeake Bay is awesome, but St. Pete Bay has got a softball tournament that you're going to want to check out. Year 1 of the St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational by Wilson was great. It's going to be even better next year. All games on the ESPN network starting February 13th, 2020. St. Pete Clearwater EliteInvite.com. That's the website. Google it. I mean, that's fun. And we could do some of the elite teams in the country go. and some terrific softball. It's almost like an NCAA tournament preview. Here's Valerie Hammett.
The thing that's neat about that tournament is it's in February. So you're seeing kind of postseason quality play at the very beginning of the season for all of those teams. 4 teams have already been revealed for who will be out there. And to make sure that you stay tuned throughout this regional, because we will reveal one more additional every single day.
G. Juarez off to a terrific start. Threw 14 pitches in the first inning, 9 of them for strikes as she struck out the side. And that's 5 for 5. Let's get another update now from Molly McGrath.
Thank you, Pam. 2 outs and bases loaded for Mizzou versus Cal State Fullerton. And Hattie Moore delivers with the grand slam. Her 2nd home run of the night. She's driven in 6 runs tonight. And then in the 6th, runners on, and Alexa Neal trying for the tying run, but Eli Daniel gets her swinging. Mizzou absolutely battling. Pam, Jenny, back to you.
How about that for Missouri? Again, all the teams in the SEC getting into the tournament, including Missouri.
And right now, Missouri playing under appeal. They do have some sanctions that could pull them back and make them miss the postseason next year. But because they are still under appeal, they get to go through this postseason and showing dominant performance with that 2 home runs.
Not a bad start. Anna Lonchar is the catcher, redshirt freshman from Bristow, Virginia. Had a shortened season last year because she tore her ACL. The 5th 0-2 count in 7 batters. Now the 8th batter faced by Juarez, and this will be the first non-strikeout. Mendez with the catch. The Retrievers go down in order. Courtney Coppersmith, the freshman from UMBC, what a season. 5 no-hitters, including a perfect game. Had one against Binghamton. She had back-to-back no-hitters in the America East tournament.
She also broke the single-game strikeout record 3 times, including a pair of 17 strikeout performances. So for me, with Coppersmith in the circle, you got to feel comfortable knowing that she's got things handled.
2nd in the nation to Nicole Newman at Drake with strikeouts this year. And when we met with Courtney yesterday, she said that she, as a youngster, really liked Oklahoma. She wanted to play for Oklahoma, but she also wanted to move to Oklahoma so she could get a job as a storm chaser.
So she said from the years from a 9 to 11, I wanted to be an Oklahoma Sooner and play softball here. She said, but as my career went on, I was a late bloomer, and I didn't think I would have the opportunity to be able to play here. She said, as I stepped onto the field to practice today, it was breathtaking knowing that I was back in this arena.
And a huge smile on her face. Shay Knighton leads things off. She said it was surreal. It's where you dream of playing and where you end up. So a dream come true for Coppersmith, just to play in this stadium. But what a task. Gave up a run in the first inning. Shay Knighton playing first today. One of the seniors on this squad, who has had such a huge impact. Coppersmith is from York, Pennsylvania, about an hour and 15 minutes from the campus at UMBC, and she said that's one of the reasons why she wanted to play there. She wanted to be close to home. She also wanted to be close to her dog, Spanky. She was having a rough week recently, and her mother brought the Spanky down. They had a little quality time, and it made her feel better. Look what she's throwing by Shay Knighton here.
And my favorite name of the night is Big Play Shay. When she walked in, you said, there she is. That's my Big Play Shay. And you're right. Shay Knighton, one of those players that has been so dominant for Oklahoma.
Never seems to hit a ton of home runs. Very, very respectable, certainly. But when she hits them, they seem to be big, and none bigger than a couple years ago in the World Series.
That home run against Florida in the 17-inning game, able to come away with a big home run, was also named the Player of the Year, or the World Series.
Yeah, most outstanding player of the World Series because she's Big Play Shay.
I was able to cover her that season actually in their super regional at Auburn. And as they came out of that one, I ran into her mom and dad as they were walking out to their car, and I said, you know what, your daughter's one of those players that I just love to watch play. And it's true, and my heart breaks for her as she deals with these knee issues that have pulled her off the field defensively.
8th pitch of the at-bat, and that's a walk Coppersmith just missed. Let's go back to Molly.
Well, Pam, they say the balls travel farther in the desert, and they are right. Auburn's Tan and Snow with a 2-run shot that is way far gone. 4 home runs and counting in this game over on ESPN. Pam and Jenny, I want to see some balls flying in Norman.
You know, we have a lot of candidates right here for that. We'll do what we can, Molly. And thank you, Molly, for just reiterating that the home runs that you hit at Arizona were cheapies. Is that what you just said? Nice play by the third baseman, Dawson, to come in and get Mendez.
And you see that Coppersmith just working the side of the plate, knowing that the ball is going to probably be put down for some short game. She jams up Mendez, and a heads-up play by Dawson gets the first out of the inning.
And Coppersmith holding her own in the circle against the most potent offense in the country. Lindsey Elam, the number 8 hitter, the catcher for the Sooners.
You know, Molly asked for some home runs. We have only seen one in this regional so far, a big one by Wisconsin to be able to get that 4-2 win. But this is a team, Oklahoma, that is known for the long ball.
Wow, look at Coppersmith blow another one by.
It's just the determination on her face. She knows who she's up against. She knows that this is a long shot, but she does not care. Oklahoma has 97 home runs, but she is not going to try to give them an opportunity by leaving the ball over the plate.
Oklahoma has only given up 19 home runs on the season. One-two pitch. Fouled off again. That was hammered but foul.
These Oklahoma hitters do such a good job of just staying in their legs, using the power from the backside, getting on plane early and driving right through the ball. It's that change of plane pitch that will make Coppersmith more dominant in the circle, and if she can get that change of speed or that change up to be very effective, it will get Oklahoma out of their legs and out ahead of the ball.
One hopper, good job by Lonchar to keep it in front of her.
Well, and that was the try at the change of speed, knowing that right now Elam way ahead of this one. Foul ball in the last one. Heads up Lonchar. Good block back behind the plate.
7th pitch of the at-bat to Elam is popped up, and another one goes out of play. Well, actually, it was caught by the catcher. Excuse me, I thought it was coming back towards us. But Lonchar stuck with it.
Well, what did you learn from the first inning, Pam? The ball is always in play. You've got to make sure that you follow that ball, track that ball, and make sure you keep your eye on it. So while it did look like it was going to trail back behind the plate and over the fence or over the net, it's that backspin that brings it back into play.
Did the wind have anything to do with it?
Perhaps. It went up there pretty high, right?
But it would definitely backspin. The wind is blowing out towards right field. First pitch swinging, number 9 hitter Grace Lyons.
Grace Lyons, a freshman shortstop, had big shoes to fill stepping into this program and has done a great job being able to cover a lot of ground, make big plays, and keep Oklahoma with the number 1 fielding percentage in the nation.
Kelsey Arnold had been the shortstop for this team and is now one of the undergrad assistants for Patty Gasso. One of her grad assistants is Kaylani Ricketts, who was National Player of the Year a couple times. One of those lefties that you talked about that helped win World Series.
And what did their practice look like yesterday? Oh yeah, they had that big arm Kaylani Ricketts to hit batting practice off of.
Yvette Healy, the head coach at Wisconsin. Her team with the win over Notre Dame earlier today, so her team will play the winner of this game tomorrow. Pitch count, this is going to be the 40th of the game already, and it's just the second inning for Coppersmith. That is launched by Lyons and over the fence for the home run. The two-run shot by Grace Lyons makes it 3-0 Sooners.
This Oklahoma team is so dominant. Coppersmith trying to take the ball up in the zone against these hitters. A number 9 hitter, Grace Lyons, launches it. She gets all of this one, and just like Molly McGrath ordered up, there's your long ball.
That one's for you, Molly. Grace Lyons, one of the 2 freshmen, both named Grace, in the everyday starting lineup for this team with her 7th home run of the season. Makes it 3-0. And out of the top of the order, Sydney Romero started things off with a bunt single in the first and then scored on Alo's RBI single that was a monstrous pop-up that just got inside the foul line. First home run for Grace Lyons in 19 games. This is the #1 overall seed that has not lost in almost 3 months. February 22nd, they lost to UCLA. High heat got Romero swinging, but it was a big fly by Grace Lyons.
Grace Lyons gets all of this one. It's a no-doubter. She takes it deep, gets Oklahoma up, and they lead it 3-0.
Welcome back to Oklahoma. G. Juarez, perfect through 2.
Has been able to find the zone in lots of different ways. Inside, swing and a miss on the up and out, and then outside nipping corners. She's been able to come away with 5 strikeouts in these 2 innings. Pair that with a big hit by Grace Lyons. Huge home run. Stays on plane, drives with the bottom half, and Oklahoma up 3-0.
Top of the 3rd inning, Kaylee Winslow, the #7 hitter, leading things off. 7-game hitting streak, during which time she's hit .550 and driven in 7 runs. There's Grace Lyons out in the outfield. UMBC, the America East champions. Pop up. Romero says, "I have it," and she does. Women's College World Series returns to Oklahoma City. Action starts Thursday, May 30th at noon Eastern Time, live on ESPN. Go to NCAA.com for more information, the official online home for all 90 NCAA champions.
Now, designated player number 11, Logan Hawker.
Oklahoma trying to get back to the World Series for the 4th straight year. Is Logan Hawker, first pitch swinging. The designated player tonight had been the catcher, but now is an outfielder, made the all-rookie team in the conference this year. Oklahoma last year hosted another regional, and Patty Gasso's team gave up exactly 0 runs. They had run rule game in there, 18 innings as they went into the Super Regional. It's Patty Gasso and pitching coach Jen Rocha laughing about something. But they were dominant in the regional, they were dominant in the super regional, and then went to the World Series. And
remember, Rocha, not a Sooner last season, was at the campus of Florida, coaching pitchers under Tim Walton. So a new addition to this staff.
hit on the ground to Clifton. 2 down. Melissa Lombardi leaving to take the head coaching job at Oregon, and that opened up the pitching coach spot here. And she was the assistant coach of the year, a couple national championships with Tim Walton down in Florida. And Jen Rocha is an Oklahoma graduate.
Did not play under Patty Gasso here, but was recruited by her to Long Beach, and then joined Patty Gasso here as a Sooner the last 2 years of her career.
Imani Dawson, the third baseman, the number 9 hitter.
That ball up and in, that's a great pitch to throw to a player that's trying to put down a little short game, because more often than not, it's going to be a pop-up.
Dawson, a sophomore from Hanover, Maryland. No-2 pitch, just off the plate.
We were talking to Coach Kohlmeyer about his team. He said Imani Dawson started the year, she struggled a little bit in the beginning, but then led the team in conference play and has really found her groove here at the end of the year.
The Royals, too much. Strikeout number 6. Perfect through 3. The Sooners up 3-zip.
G. Juarez dominant in the circle, able to get another strikeout and keep UMBC scoreless.
Winner of this regional will play the winner of the Evanston regional. Beth Healy, the always positive, it seems, right? Very smiley, we were at practice yesterday, very positive with her athletes, getting them to their 3rd straight NCAA tournament.
Well, they had a 4-0 lead in that game, allowed Notre Dame to creep back in at the end, gave them an opportunity to potentially get ahead, but Wisconsin able to shut the door and move on in the winner's bracket.
Wisconsin won at 4-2. Notre Dame left the bases loaded in the bottom of the 7th. So Wisconsin gets the winner of this game. Fale View up for the 2nd time today. Full name Fale Polima of you from Oceanside, California. First team all Big 12, has had a very steady career at Oklahoma. Patty Gasso said when she first saw her, she was just a skinny little kid. Has developed into what she says is basically the perfect number 2 hitter.
She did struggle a little bit last year, but came away with a .276 average and 5 home runs.
That is a solid single to lead off the 3rd inning, make it a double as it goes all the way to the wall. That was stung and got all the way to the wall.
Talked about that split grip and how it gives her a little bit more barrel control. She takes that front side, drives through it, opens up and gets this one all the way to the wall. Great drive, and is able to come away with a double.
Her 10th of the season. And it sets up Kaylee Clifton, who struck out swinging her first time up, one of 2 strikeout victims for Coppersmith. Takes a strike right down the middle. Oklahoma has gotten the leadoff runner on. Now in all 3 innings, the previous 2 scored.
Sports Center tonight after the Colorado State-Auburn game with Bucci and Anderson. Stephen A. joins the show from Milwaukee after the Raptors-Bucks Game 2, an ALCS rematch in Boston, and Tigers' second round at Bethpage. Sports Center, 11 Eastern on ESPN and on the ESPN app. Coppersmith in the circle really just takes control. She loves to run the game. She has great timing, very controlled.
But Kaylee Clifton takes it over the wall with a line drive home run. Second home run of the night for the Sooners.
I don't think that ball got over 30 feet high. It was a line drive shot. Talk about squaring it up. Did not want to end this at bat the way she did her last. Swung on a rise ball with a swing and a miss strikeout. That's the way that Kaylee Clifton wanted to hit this one. Squared it up, got out of here in a hurry. Oklahoma showing that the long ball doesn't have to be high to get out.
As the crowd yells Kaylee, she comes out and takes her curtain call. As Oklahoma now leads 5-0. Jocelyn Allo had an RBI single in the first inning. That was really a monstrous pop-up that just fell into fair territory down the first baseline.
And you made a great point, that pop-up. That's hard to read in the lights, but this is the first night game that UMBC has played all season.
Now Lowe's turn to get a base hit. So a double homer and now single for the Sooners in this inning. Jocelyn's 2 for 2.
We noticed in between innings that JT Gasso, the hitting coach for this Oklahoma Sooner team, brought the entire team together, and they all talked about their approach. And JT Gasso has done a great job, according to his mom, Patty Gasso, in setting up these hitters to be successful.
Now Chris Kohlmeyer goes out to speak with Courtney Coppersmith. Kohlmeyer, what a job he has done. Third head coach in 4 years. First year at UMBC, had been an assistant at Miami of Ohio. The winningest head coach when he was at Belmont in Nashville. And he calls the pitches. They don't even have a pitching coach.
No, so you have this dominant pitcher in Courtney Coppersmith, and there is no pitching coach on campus. They are expecting to have one for next season. But in this moment right here, Chris Kohlmeyer has a tough time to try to manage so many different positions and moving pieces.
He only has one assistant, Tori Vanderplas, who graduated from UMBC where she played last year.
Right, she was a player on this team a season ago, joined them very recently.
Coppersmith with the impressive numbers nationwide, but she is facing literally the best offensive team in the country tonight. Statistically, it's Oklahoma and then everybody else when it comes to the offensive numbers they put up. Grace Green flew out to right her first time up. Don't miss a minute of the action from the NCAA Softball Regionals. Take you to the best live action on the Bases Loaded channel on the ESPN app. See every game, every big moment on the road to the Women's College World Series, only on the ESPN networks. Bases Loaded rules.
It's so fun. You catch up on every game, and there's so many going on right now that that's the easiest way to be able to stay abreast of everything going on during this regional.
Hit to the shortstop. And they get the lead runner as Allo is retired. It's Danew and the flip to Winslow, who's a little shaken up.
And this isn't meant to be a dirty play, but as the shortstop Danew feeds over to Winslow, the slide in, she trips. There's no contact made by Allo with Winslow.
So, ooh, her left knee just went the wrong way, bent inward or backward. Kaylee Winslow, the junior from Leesburg, Virginia. Transfer from North Carolina, Wilmington.
And there you see Megan Hetrick, the trainer for UMBC, coming out to make sure that Winslow's okay. And sometimes those tweaks, they hurt more in the moment and they scare you. And so it does take a minute to come back. But once you walk it off, you're okay. Winslow tough, and Hetrick will allow her to stay in.
And the crowd here, and Norman gives her a hand.
Number 17, Shay Knighton.
So with green at first, Shay Knighton comes up. She's walked and then scored ahead of Grace Lyons' 2-run home run in the last inning. Taking off and easily getting into second, Grace Green. So Green able to get in there and seal her 8th base of the season. Knighton pops it up and good play. Lonchar getting out from behind the plate to retire Knighton for the 2nd out.
You don't typically see Shay Knighton chase a pitch. That one she does chase. And a good play by Lonchar back behind the dish. We've seen Lonchar be very effective on these pop-ups. Comes up ready to gun out any kind of advancement by Green.
Head coach Chris Kuhlmeyer very impressed with Lonchar when we talked to him yesterday, and that is gone. A gargantuan shot by Nicole Mendez.
For a player that had no home runs last season, that launched her 5th home run of this year, and that was a monster shot. Talk about getting on plane early and just driving through. Not even a complete swing. Gets to contact and lets the follow-through take it over the outfield bleachers. The fan can't even reach it. Over both fences, and Coppersmith right now finds herself in a tough spot.
The 2nd 2-run homer of this inning, the 3rd 2-run homer of the game for the Sooners, who now lead at 7-0. And they continue to build on their impressive offensive numbers. They have 100 and even 100 home runs on the season now after that blast by Mendez. G. Juarez talking with Mendez. Juarez perfect through 3. She has 2 perfect games already this season. And if Oklahoma gets another run here, she could be looking at the possibility of a shortened game, just having to throw 5 innings instead of 7. The wind is blowing out, but they didn't need any wind, these home runs we've seen.
They have not needed the wind to be aided to get out of this ballpark. So the trap you can fall into as a big hitter is wanting to put your own ball out of the park, and you start trying for it. What you have to do as you follow a home run hitter is to make sure that you step in and go for contact, drive gap to gap, and don't try to lift. That's when the ball will be a pop-up or a strikeout.
Now, you hit your fair share of home runs. Did you find did you ever try to hit one?
You can't try. If you start to try to hit home runs, that's when you start to get in your head. And if you get between your ears, that's a problem. You never want to be between your ears when you're hitting.
So you never tried to hit one?
Okay, yes, I did.
And then you failed, and you're like, I'm not doing that again?
Well, I remember vividly one time Coach Kendray pointing at me and telling me to take it out, and I did hit a home run. So it was kind of cool, but I think as a coach, you know, don't ask that of your players, because that's when you do start getting in trouble, when you try to start to hit those home runs.
Lifted by Elam into short left field. Kepler grabs it for the final out, but two-run homers for the Sooners.
Talk about blast. Kaylee Clifton with a 2 RBI home run. Nicole Mendez with another 2 RBI home run as well. But on the flip side, let's talk with Patty Gasso.
Welcome back to the NCAA Softball Regionals presented by Capital One. Oklahoma with the 7-0 lead over UMBC, as we are joined now by Patty Gasso, the head coach for the Oklahoma Sooners. So good stuff in the circle so far by Juarez, but you're making a change.
I am. I think it's important when you're in a regional situation to try to get everybody on the mound as quick as you can, just to get them comfortable with the surrounding and all of that. So we've got a nice lead, had a nice inning there, so giving Mariah an opportunity to feel it out.
So talking about that inning, we saw JT Gasso come out in the middle of the inning and talk to the hitters. What was that message?
He told them what I told him. So staying above the ball, doing a little bit better job of zoning it down and then just kind of staying above it.
You know what, it worked. He got some home runs after
You're welcome,
that.
yeah.
Good job.
You're kind of smart.
I see you. So it's 7-0. 3 2-run home runs. JT Gasso is the hitting coach. His mother is the head coach, and we have some in-game nourishment going on in the dugout. There's G. Juarez out of the game, and she threw 3 perfect innings, Jennifer.
She did, but I love the fact that JT is able to give the message that Patty wants him to give. I mean, not only is he your son, but they work together to develop those offensive plans, and they're able to communicate it.
So we do have a new pitcher in Mariah Lopez. There's JT.
There's JT, and he develops the plans for these hitters, but Mariah Lopez, a new pitcher in the circle, and he's directing the defense, telling them where they need to be.
So G. Juarez is 22-0 on the season. Lopez is 17-1.
Yeah, Lopez has sat behind some really big arms here at Oklahoma, thinking this was going to be the year that she had it. She's a power pitcher. She gets to, you got to get to toe touch early on her, because she can blow this ball by you if you have not set down that front side.
UMBC trailing 7-0. Julia Kepler up for the second time. It's been 9 up, 9 down with Juarez in the circle. She struck out 6 in 3 innings. Lopez ahead 1 and 2 on the leadoff hitter. And she gets her first K of the game.
Mariah Lopez going to use the rise ball just like G. Juarez, but the difference between the two of them is the fact that their speed difference can be really hard to adjust to.
Patty Gasso, 25 years in charge of the Oklahoma Sooners. Every year she's taken them to the NCAA tournament. She's got 4 national championships, 8th straight Big 12 Coach of the Year this year, so 12 overall. A very impressive resume.
We had them during conference play, and they have not lost a conference game since April of 2017. I mean, so dominant in conference play, and then transfer it over to the postseason.
First team to run the table in back-to-back seasons in Big 8, Big 12 conference play. Nebraska in 1998, the only other team to have an unbeaten Big 12 season, and Oklahoma has now done it twice in a row in this 39-game overall winning streak. There's another strikeout. Is a new NCAA record for one season. Arizona has the overall record. They won 47 straight, but that was split between the 96 and 97 seasons.
Right, and for them to win 39 games, I mean, they are 45-2. Their only losses this year came to Florida State and UCLA, the last one being February 22nd.
The defending champions and the #2 team in UCLA. That's the only losses. And as you mentioned, that was back in February, neutral site games. Here's Coppersmith, the starting pitcher. Also a pretty good hitter. And Lopez, and you mentioned you're behind Paige Parker, you're behind Paige Lowry. They graduate, you think this could be your year, and then in January, Juarez comes. So she's not the ace, she is a co-ace, if you will. But she really is a good pitcher. She's just been in the shadow of some greats.
I mean, she is an amazing pitcher. 141 strikeouts on the year coming into this game. Has 101 innings pitched, so she's pitched more than last year. She's got more wins than last year and a lower ERA.
And she just struck out the side. Coming in out of the bullpen.
UMBC, no runs, hits or errors.
Oklahoma up 7-0. When we come back, we will speak with Chris Kuhlmeyer, the head coach of the Retrievers. Welcome back. Oklahoma leading UMBC 7-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Joined now by Chris Kuhlmeyer, the first-year head coach. The Retrievers surprised just about everybody by getting into the tournament. Now, Courtney Coppersmith, we knew this would be tough for her facing Oklahoma, but what have you seen from her in the circle?
You know, she's got to get settled in early in the game, and I thought she got through the first inning really well. We just made a little mistake right there, letting that pop-up drop, and I think a little bit of the nerves got in, and then some of her pitches just started hanging just a little bit, and you can't hang them with Oklahoma, and she's a great pitcher, and she's going to keep fighting through this.
So you came into this UMBC program knowing that they needed just a little bit more encouragement. What has the change meant for you?
It means everything to me. I just love going out there with these guys every day and just seeing the thrill in their eyes, just how much they want to build this program into a contender consistently in our conference and just put us on the national stage.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Anything else you want to say?
Absolutely. To my 2 kids that are in Nashville right now, my daughter just finished her own softball game. Hey, Addison and Jared, love you guys. Love you guys.
All right, Chris Kuhlmeyer, thank you very much. And seriously, what a great job he has done. The program was, let's say, down, to say the least. I mean, they had a losing record. They had players who were thinking about quitting softball because they did not have a positive experience. And then along comes Chris Kuhlmeyer, and Coppersmith helps because she's a great player. But Kuhlmeyer brought a totally different attitude and vibe. And some of the players said they learned to love softball again.
And if you remember, this is not a team that was getting the national attention, but Dainu said he made us fall in love with the sport again, and he helped us regain our confidence. And for a player to be able to say they love the game again, that's a win.
Grace Lyons had a 2-run homer last time up. Can you believe it? Another pop-up that falls in almost the identical spot where Alo hit one back in the 1st inning.
So there's levels of priority when it comes to a defensive call. So while this ball is going up down the first base line, that is a second baseman's priority to be able to come in behind a first baseman and come away with this one. It's a tough break, but Winslow's got to be able to reel that one in.
So the pop single for Lyons sets up Sydney Romero, who has a bunt single and a strikeout against Coppersmith. This UMBC team was picked to finish last in the America East preseason poll, got into the tournament where Coppersmith threw back-to-back no-hitters, and then they beat UMass Lowell, shut them out. That was one of the no-hitters, and then beat Stony Brook back-to-back to win the whole thing and get the automatic bid. So it's really remarkable. And when Coach Kuhlmeyer came in, he thought 2 or 3 years we can contend for the conference championship, and they did it in year 1.
Coppersmith so dominant, 28 innings pitched, 33 strikeouts in that conference tournament, and that's what got her the MVP.
Hit hard, and a nice play by Dawson to get it over to Winslow to get Lyons, the lead runner. Golden State leads the series 2-0 over Portland, but the Blazers are back home for the Western Conference Finals at 9 Eastern tomorrow. Coverage tips at 8 Eastern with NBA Countdown. Both stream live on the ESPN app, so you can watch it anywhere with your mobile device. So Romero on first. Thanks to the fielder's choice, she takes off, and she is safe. Pretty good throw by Ronshaw. But Romero was able to slide in there safely.
When you think with a 7-0 lead, why would Oklahoma be stealing a base? Well, Pam, it's because that is the run that can end this game early. So you've got to make sure that you put her in scoring position to give yourself an opportunity to end this one early.
Romero now 7 for 7 in stolen bases this year. A view with the big time pop up. Courtney Coppersmith, the American East Rookie of the Year and Pitcher of the Year from York, Pennsylvania. And look, 5 no-hitters, including a perfect game. Only Nicole Newman at Drake has more strikeouts. Oh, yes, and she's a biochemistry and molecular biology major who is busy all of the time. A view sends that into short center, short hop. Romero holds it third, and a view goes into second.
And Keffler does a good job of keeping this ball in front because it doesn't shift past her. She's able to keep the run from scoring, but a heads-up base running play by a view slides her into second in scoring position herself.
So give a view a single, and then she took second. Romero on third now, and she would be the 8th run and would get the 8-run run rule into play. Last time Kaylee Clifton was up, she did this.
It was a line drive, right? Yeah, well, this line drive cleared the wall. That ball did not get very high, but it didn't have to. It got out of here in a hurry.
She has a 2-run shot. One of 3 2-run home runs hit by the Sooners tonight. For an even 100 on the season, that is their 3rd best ever in a year.
You know, in the game of baseball, I would say that this pitch was trying to play a little chin music up across Clifton, but it's just a pitch that got away from Coppersmith.
Oklahoma with 100 home runs. They hit 102 7 years ago, and a program high at 107 in 2015. In the previous 2 seasons, the 2 highs, 2012 and 2015, they did not win the World Series. But they did in 2013. #1 overall seed this year. Clifton draws the walk to load the bases for Jocelyn Allo. And the buzz of excitement is here in this building.
You know, Allo is one of those hitters that made everybody excited last year. A freshman, able to hit 30 home runs. But for me, the thing that I am enjoying about her sophomore campaign, just 1 strikeout in conference play. So she's been very disciplined on the plate. While she has not been able to duplicate the home run numbers like she did a year ago, just 14 on this season, she's been able to step back, reevaluate, find the love of the game, and not have that same kind of pressure that she's been putting on herself through the beginning of this year.
And it showed in her first 36 games, just 7 home runs. And now she's got 7 in her last 11. And look at those numbers, well over 400.
And a 12-game hit streak.
And a chance to really bust this open. Off the glove of Longshore, but Romero stays put. With just 1 out and Allo at the plate, right? Why risk it?
There's no need. And right now with a 2-0 count, this next pitch is going to have to find the strike zone. This is the pitch that I would love to unload on. Romero thinking twice. You know, and that's not a call that Patty Gasso is going to make. That's an instinctual call that you make as a base runner. And so in that moment, Patty Gasso sits back and lets her seasoned senior go ahead and make that call.
Take a look now at tonight's rewarding performance presented by Capital One. How about 3 2-run shots by the Sooners?
I mean, they were lifted, blasts, and the next one, so impressive, absolutely tattooed over both fences here at the park. I mean, this Sooner team so impressive, and that was home run, like you said, number 100 on the season.
Now a 2-0 count to Alo. With the bases loaded, just 1 out. Oklahoma has scored in every inning. And Coppersmith is 1 pitch away from walking in a run. Missed, and run number 8 crosses the plate. So it's now 8-0, and the rule, a regulation 8-run rule game declared by the umpire if one team is ahead by 8 or more runs after 5 or more equal innings. In this case, it would be after UMBC bats for the 5th time, which is coming up. And we are going to have a pinch runner for Alo over at first, and it is Reagan Rogers. Patty Gasso getting some of her bench players in tonight.
Pitch running for Oklahoma on first base, number 24, Reagan Rogers. Now batting for the Sooners, number 27, Kylie Lundberg.
And Grace Green is being pitch hit for by Lundberg. Kylie Lundberg, one of the seniors on this team.
Well, and Pam, if you'll notice, the 2 changes that she made are inserting the 2 seniors that don't normally play for this Oklahoma Sooner squad. So Reagan over at first will run, Reagan Rogers, and at the plate, Lundberg gets her hacks.
Good job by Lonchar to keep that inner glove.
I mean, talk about a defensive masterpiece to be able to come away with this one. As a catcher sitting in those haunches for the whole game, doing a good job of just keeping Coppersmith in front of her.
Head coach Chris Kohlmeyer, we talked to him about Lonchar. He said she works really well with the pitchers, really likes her behind the plate. He says she knows how to work umpires as well. And that's sort of an art form, right? To talk to umpires, just to get to that point where you're not annoying them, maybe?
Well, you want to develop a relationship that is respectful, that you can communicate in, and also be able to work as a team.
And she is only a redshirt freshman. Made the all-rookie team for the America East Conference this year. Bases loaded for Lundberg.
You think about how many reps, how many hours in the cages have gone into this opportunity for Lundberg. Not an everyday starter, but is able to step in and really try to capitalize on a great moment here in postseason.
Her 25th at bat of the season. And she gets a base hit. Lundberg with the pinch hit, single, drives in 2 more runs.
This pitch kind of eats her up, but very strong, able to go down and get it, drive it in the 3-4 hole. There's no way that they're going to be able to come up with it. And because of its location, 2 more runs for Oklahoma. A great moment for Lundberg and 2 RBIs for her.
Her 6th and 7th of the season. Lundberg's mother played for Patty Gasso at Long Beach City College. Patty was really young, right, when she got that job?
She actually really was.
Oh, okay. Now Shay Knighton has walked and scored tonight. Looking like we will have an Oklahoma-Wisconsin matchup tomorrow afternoon. The winner goes to the regional final. Oklahoma 6-0 all-time against Wisconsin. Jillian McCarthy, freshman lefty, is throwing in the Retrievers bullpen. There's Jilly, as she is known by her teammates, from Northfield, New Jersey. UMBC on track to play Notre Dame tomorrow in a survival game. Knighton draws the walk to load the bases again. Her second walk of the night. And Knighton will be also lifted in favor of a pinch runner. It's Alexa Schultz. Knighton playing on those two chronically painful knees. So Schultz comes in. Now Nicole Mendez, who hit a ball that cleared the right field bleachers last time she was up. Still just one away. Oklahoma 10 runs on 10 hits. UMBC has not had a base runner. Starter G. Juarez and Mariah Lopez combining so far on a perfect game. Juarez going the first 3 innings.
Mendez's home run was a no-doubter. This one, she got all of it. Got on plane early, drove through her backside. It was a turn and trot.
Batting average back up again after a disappointing sophomore year. That finds the grass. Run number 11 comes home. Mendez has 3 RBIs tonight.
It's so frustrating as a pitcher to be able to jam up a hitter like Mendez, but it falls into no man's land. There's nothing that can be done defensively to come away with that one.
I think this could be it for Coppersmith. True freshman who doesn't turn 19 until next month. Had a tremendous season for the Retrievers, but she knew she was in for a fight tonight, and the best offensive team in the country has lit her up for 11 runs.
A tough outing for Coppersmith, and so dominant, but knowing that you're coming against Oklahoma, it was going to be a whole different breed of animal trying to strike out these Sooners.
Does have a couple of strikeouts, but he's given up 3 home runs, 4 walks.
It's been an impressive outing. Honestly, other than those 3 home runs, she was striking out batters. She was able to nip some corners, but Coppersmith going to have to relinquish.
Jillian McCarthy comes in to relieve Coppersmith. We take a timeout with Oklahoma in control, 11-0. Leah Flores will pinch hit for Elam. First pitch for McCarthy is out of the zone. Elam's numbers on the year, does not get a lot of playing time on this very potent offensive club. Stands only 5'2". batter is 5'2", but over at second now, a new second baseman, Chloe Obispo, for the Retrievers, is listed at 4'11".
We've got 2 4'11" players on this roster, but both of them pack a powerful punch. They can swing it.
Flores swung at what would have been ball 4. That's one of the many things I love about this sport. As someone who is vertically challenged myself, but would tower over these guys, it's cool that somebody who's 4'11" can play D1 softball.
Well, more than that, your strike zone's small. And because of that, you have a much better chance of getting a better pitch.
Full count now with 1 away and the bases loaded for the pinch hitter Flores. Pounds it to third, throw across the diamond, gets Flores. But Lundberg scores run number 12.
Jenna Stupi, new third baseman over there, able to come away with it. But an impressive out for UMBC to be able to get Flores to ground out.
And now the Sooners have batted around in the 4th inning. Grace Lyons started things off with a pop-up down the first baseline that fell in for a single. She hit the first of 3 2-run homers for the Sooners this evening, back in the 2nd inning. Oklahoma with 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 4 in the third, and now 5 runs here in the 4th inning. Ball gets away from the catcher, and Alexis Schultz over at third stays put.
Well, it's in these situations, they're big moments. Coppersmith was allowing Oklahoma to hit away, but McCarthy, this may be the biggest moment of her softball career, stepping in and trying to face these Sooners. A good pitch, knowing that on a 3-0 count, the batter typically is going to hold up, not wanting to do anything with a pitch that may be just a corner. So able to fill the zone with a strike as she fell behind.
Fly ball sends Pierce backwards. She catches it to end the 4th inning, in which Oklahoma scores 5 runs. UMBC's last chance coming up in the top of the 5th. Welcome back. There's a good look at Norman, Oklahoma, where the Sooners are 3 outs away from winning their first game of the Norman Regional, up 12-0 on UMBC. Patty Gasso's team, there's G. Juarez to the right. She started this game. Then Mariah Lopez pitched the 4th, and now Shannon Sale comes in to try to close things out in the 5th inning.
Shannon Sale, we heard that Patty Gasso likes to get those pitchers early looks in the regionals to help them out in the postseason, knowing that there's always the potential for another pitcher to need to toe the rubber. But Shannon Sale, another hard thrower. She's effectively wild. You'll find her around the zone a lot. Her approach is to dominate at the end of the game. She's got that closer mentality, just trying to breeze through the last couple hitters.
And she is also trying to get Oklahoma its first ever NCAA tournament perfect game. Mariah Lopez came in to relieve G. Juarez. And now Shannon Sale tries to shut things down as she faces Sierra Pierce. A couple of defensive changes. Grace Green has replaced Shay Knighton over at first for the Sooners. Jocelyn Allo is out. And Reagan Rogers now playing right field. Sierra Pierce was one of the 6 strikeout victims of G. Juarez. That was a nice grab by Elam behind the plate.
Elam did not really win the catching position until this spring. Found herself with a high school senior that graduated early, came in and really elevated her play and earned Elam the starting spot.
Now the strikeout, Elam gets her to keep the perfect game going. Leah Wodak had been the catcher. Leah now one of the undergrad assistants for Patty Gasso, and Elam stays calm.
Well, the thing that makes this play so effective is that Elam creates that lane on the inside part of the line and is able to create a clear path for the throw down to first base.
Valerie Hammett struck out in her only at bat. University of Oklahoma has 2 no-hitters in the NCAA tournament. Kaylani Ricketts had one against Michigan in 2013. They won the championship that year. And in 2015, Paige Parker and Kelsey Stevens combined on a 5-inning no-hitter against Central Arkansas. Again, they've never had a perfect game in the NCAA tournament, but working right now on their 3rd no-hitter. Another strikeout. And the Sooners are 1 out away from a perfect game.
And Shannon Sale settling down nicely, able to get this rise ball to jump out of the zone for the swing and the miss. So far, Sale 2 strikeouts on the night.
Sale actually is the lowest ERA on this team at 1.06. Anna Lonchar flew out to center in her only at bat. Done a good job behind the plate tonight for the Retrievers. We're looking at a game against Notre Dame tomorrow to stay alive in the tournament. Wisconsin awaits Oklahoma. Oklahoma about to run its winning streak to 40 straight games. 7 off the record set by Arizona in the 96 to 97 seasons.
And all they're doing right now is extending that single season record that they have already set. Before this game completes, they are at 39 season wins. This would make it 40.
Most of the fans standing and clapping in rhythm. Gets it done, striking out the side, completing the perfect game for the Sooners. Juarez, Lopez, and Sale. The first perfect game in program history in the NCAA tournament. The 3rd time they've had a no-hitter. 3 2-run homers, just an absolutely dominating performance by the #1 overall seed.
And in the circle, 12 strikeouts split between those 3 pitchers. Oklahoma looking to really make a name for itself here in the postseason.
An emphatic statement in this 12-0 win. So Oklahoma plays Wisconsin tomorrow at 4 Eastern time. And then that follows with UMBC and Notre Dame in an elimination game here in Norman. 2-run home runs tonight for Grace Lyons, Nicole Mendez, and Kaylee Clifton. Coppersmith goes down. For Jenny Dalton-Hill and our entire crew, I'm Pam Ward. NCAA softball continues with Harvard and Arizona.